If Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, CPC, were to lose a federal election in which he is a key contender, several scenarios could unfold depending on the specifics of the loss and the broader political climate. Below is a detailed exploration of what could happen. 1. Impact on the Conservative Party. Internal party dynamics. A loss could lead to internal criticism of Poilievre's leadership. Some party members might question his strategy, policies, or messaging. This could result in a leadership review or a push for new leadership. Policy re-evaluation. The party might re-evaluate its platform, focusing on what resonated with voters and what did not. This could include shifting policy positions or adopting a different tone in future campaigns. Future leadership challenges. Prominent conservatives, such as Michel Rempel, Michael Chong, or others, might position themselves as potential successors if they feel Poilievre's leadership no longer aligns with the party's goals. 2. Liberal Party and Trudeau's legacy. Continuation of Liberal governance. If Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party wins, it would extend their time in power. Trudeau would likely view the victory as validation of his policies, though his longevity as leader could still come into question given fatigue among voters after multiple terms. Shift in Liberal policy. Depending on the nature of the campaign, a Liberal victory might encourage them to prioritize issues that were heavily debated, such as housing, climate change, or economic equity. Political fatigue. While the Liberals may win, continued governance without addressing key challenges could lead to greater dissatisfaction, leaving an opening for other parties in future elections. 3. Broader political landscape. Rise of third parties. A Conservative loss could create space for third parties like the NDP or Bloc Québécois to gain influence, particularly if voters become disillusioned with the two major parties. Public sentiment. Public reactions to the loss could vary. If Poilievre's campaign heavily criticized government policies, a loss might signal that Canadians prefer stability or were unconvinced by his alternative vision. Media and public perception. The media might frame the loss as a failure of Poilievre's leadership or strategy, possibly influencing future narratives around him and the party. 4. Poilievre's personal political future. Remaining as leader. If the loss is not catastrophic, Poilievre might retain his position and prepare for the next election, focusing on rebuilding the party's image and strategy. Stepping down. A significant loss might lead him to step down as leader, especially if there is pressure from within the party or if he feels his vision is no longer viable. Reputation management. How Poilievre handles a loss, whether he takes responsibility or blames external factors, could shape his political future and influence within Canadian politics. 5. Voter dynamics. Shifts in Conservative base. A loss might indicate that the Conservative Party's policies under Poilievre failed to attract key voter groups, such as urban Canadians, young voters, or immigrants. Engagement of marginalized voters. The outcome could prompt renewed efforts by all parties to engage with marginalized or underrepresented groups, particularly if voter turnout played a decisive role. Regional divides. If the Conservatives lose significant ground in regions like Ontario or Quebec, it could highlight the need for a broader national appeal. 6. International perception. Stability in Canadian politics. A Liberal victory might be seen internationally as a continuation of Canada's current policies, especially on climate change, trade, and global diplomacy. Impacts on foreign relations. Poilievre's loss might reassure allies who were concerned about a potential shift in Canada's approach to foreign policy, particularly regarding relations with the US or China. 7. Economic and social policies. Policy continuity. A Liberal government would likely continue its current trajectory on issues like healthcare funding, climate change, and housing, with adjustments based on campaign promises. Conservative reflection. The Conservatives might reassess their economic policies, such as tax reform or energy policy, to better align with voter priorities. Conclusion. A loss for Pierre Poilievre would undoubtedly spark a period of introspection for the Conservative Party and himself. It could reshape Canadian politics by influencing party strategies, leadership, and voter engagement. How Poilievre and the Conservatives respond to such an outcome would determine their long-term viability as a political force in Canada.